Hi, hello. Well, I did not expect it to be this long before I shared another video with you all. I've had the worst cold. I'm finally getting to the end of it. Like 10 days. Ugh, January. All right, so in this video, I am going to upcycle this shirt. This is a men's shirt. The interesting thing about this shirt is this shirt belonged to my father. Yeah. This is my dad's shirt, and he's been dead since 1994. So if he was alive now, he'd be in his 90s. So this was probably purchased by him in late 80s, early 90s, maybe even before that. It's got the Polo logo. You can see it's actually in really decent shape, except for this tear here. Well, when my father passed away, my husband got a few of his shirts, and so my husband's been wearing this regularly, laundering it for the last 30 years, and it just finally ripped. So it says something about the quality of this shirt, but obviously it has a lot of sentimental value. So what I'm gonna do, I have a couple, sorry, I'm still nasally. I have a couple inspo photos I'll put up from this Instagram account I follow that does this same thing, that upcycles men's shirts, and also a designer that I really like. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to ruche, this is just pinned, I'm going to ruche the sleeves up like this on the inside, and I'm going to put a couple, one or two buttons over here, so that, well, it would actually be buttons over here, so that I can button it tighter, and I'll keep them here. But the other thing I'm going to do, the sort of tricky, interesting part, is I'm going to cut it off to get rid of this problem and add a different fabric. And that's what I've been stressing about. And I have this blue floral print. Might be too weird, I don't know, but I've tried a bunch of things, I've pinned a bunch of things on here just to see what I like, and so far I really like this. I can, go out and get something else, get a solid, that would be more expected, I think, a solid, but I think I want to cut the floral print, pin it on, try it on, see how it feels. So that's what I'm going to do. And this is my other idea I made a flower out of muslin. I really want to make cloth flowers. I think they're so cool. So I just made this one to see what the deal was. I think what I'm going to do is take the fabric that I cut off and make a cloth flower. Probably my right shoulder, actually. But that's the plan. So first step, cut it off, which is a little scary, a little emotional, a little weird, but gonna do it. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it, the tear's right here. I'm gonna cut it about right here. I'm gonna measure so I can get it an angle, 10 inches from the side seam. Mark this. So, a bit about my dad. He was a super gregarious, very handsome, very outgoing, fun guy. However, he was not a great father. I'm sad to say. I'm very sorry to say, because it was pretty difficult. He left the family when I was about 10. Was not clear about his reasons, and that was always a point of difficulty for my mother. I did reconnect with him as an adult, and we got to spend some really good time together before he died. I'm very glad I did. Okay, I'm gonna pause my biography for a second and go ahead and cut this. It's strange. It's a strange feeling. All right, here I go. Alrighty, now I'm gonna use this to cut out of my fabric so I can test out my idea and see if it works. I marked a seam allowance along both sides of this piece, and I left the ends long where the placket will be. Okay, I just pinned it on there so I could feel it out, and I like it. It's kind of unusual and cool and unexpected, and I like the dark. I like the navy. I especially like it with the jeans, which is probably mostly how I'll wear it. So I can't really pull it tight because of the pins, but I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with the process. I'm gonna sew this on, but first I'm gonna figure out the placket, how to imitate the placket all the way down. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to say about my dad is that despite all his failings as a father, I really missed growing up with him. I saw him sporadically after he left, and like I said, I connected with him when I was an adult, but we are so much alike in personality, physically, in so many ways, and not growing up with him on a day-to-day basis, the person who, I felt connected to more than anybody in the family just felt like a big loss, and is something I've really had to work out and think a lot about. I've written a lot about it. So that's the last thing I wanted to say about my dad. So I'm happy to be doing something funky with his shirt and wearing it. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next step. I am sewing the top and the bottom of the shirt together, and I'm gonna do it with a French seam so it's really clean on the inside, which means first I sew the wrong sides together very close to the raw edge, then I press the seam flat and sew the right sides together. Next, I added a buttonhole to the bottom part of the shirt. Then I folded the hem over twice, pressed it, and stitched it. I did the ruching on the inside of the sleeves. It was a little tricky getting that underneath the needle, but I made it. And the final step, sewing on the additional button. I messed around with sewing the cloth flower, but it just wasn't looking right. It looked like too much, so I abandoned it for now. Well, this was a satisfying project. It's just nice to take something that has so much history and has been in my life for so long to upcycle it and give it a change. I'm really happy with it. I know the patterns are, you know, not necessarily what you would put together, but I like a strong juxtaposition like that. As you can see, I ruched up the arms, but I can also leave the sleeves down or roll them up. And it feels good to just button it straight down and wear it big and loose. I use this fabric to make this paneled skirt. This is much more moving into spring, but I like these two together also. I'll put a link below to the skirt, sew along. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed the process. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments, and I'll be back again soon.